What if the thing holding you back is not your talent, your background, your luck, your education, or your circumstances? What if the real enemy is something much quieter? The little excuse you make when you are tired, the small delay you justify when the work feels boring, the promise you make to yourself, then casually break, the dream you keep planning, but never actually attack. Brian Tracy's No Excuses is built around one uncomfortable but life-changing idea. Self-discipline is the master key to success. Not motivation, not inspiration, not waiting until you feel ready. Self-discipline. The ability to do what you should do when you should do it, whether you feel like it or not. And yes, that sounds simple. But simple is not the same as easy. In fact, this book is powerful because it points to the one skill that affects almost everything. Your career, money, health, relationships, happiness, confidence, and peace of mind. Tracy's message is direct. If you want a better life, stop negotiating with your excuses. The Lazy Capybara version. You do not need to panic. You do not need to become a productivity robot. You just need to stop letting your weakest mood make your biggest decisions. The core idea, self-discipline, creates freedom. Most people think discipline means restriction. They hear the word and imagine sacrifice, pressure, rules, and no fun. But Tracy flips that idea around. He argues that self-discipline is not the enemy of freedom. It is the path to freedom. Because without discipline, you become controlled by whatever is easiest in the moment. You spend because you feel like spending. You avoid hard conversations because they feel uncomfortable. You procrastinate because the task is boring. You eat, scroll, react, complain, and delay because the short-term feeling wins. That may feel like freedom at first, but over time, it becomes a trap. Real freedom is different. Real freedom is having control over your time, your money, your emotions, your body, your work, and your future. And that kind of freedom does not come from doing whatever you feel like. It comes from training yourself to do what matters most. Tracy organizes the book into 3 major areas. 1. Self-discipline for personal success. This includes character, responsibility, goals, courage, persistence, and personal growth. 2. Self-discipline in business, sales, money, and career. This includes work habits, leadership, problem-solving, customer focus, financial control, and professional excellence. 3. Self-discipline for a better life. This includes happiness, health, relationships, family, emotional control, and inner peace. The message across all 3 areas is the same. Success is not random. It is built by repeated choices. Small disciplined choices may look boring in the moment, but over time, they quietly become your life. Success is not an accident. One of the strongest ideas in No Excuses is that success is predictable. That does not mean everyone starts from the same place. People have different backgrounds, opportunities, obstacles, and responsibilities. But Tracy argues that the principles of achievement are not mysterious. People who succeed usually do certain things again and again. They set clear goals, they take responsibility, they improve their skills, they focus on high-value work, they persist when things become difficult, they delay gratification, they refuse to blame everyone else, and people who stay stuck often do the opposite. They wait for perfect conditions. They blame their childhood, the economy, their boss, their partner, their lack of time, or bad luck. They choose comfort now and hope for success later. Tracy's point is not to shame people. It is to wake them up. Because the moment you accept that your choices matter, you get your power back. You may not control everything that happens to you, but you can control how you respond, what you learn, what habits you build, and what direction you move next. That is where self-discipline begins. Character, who you become, matters more than what you get. Tracy begins with a big idea. True success is not only about money, status, or achievement. It is about the kind of person you become. You can have a nice car, a big title, and a beautiful Instagram life, but if your character is weak, your success has no foundation. Character is built in private. It is built when you tell the truth, even when lying would be easier. It is built when you keep your promise even when nobody is checking. It is built when you do the right thing under pressure. It is built when you choose long-term respect over short-term convenience. Tracy connects self-discipline with integrity. Integrity means your actions match your values. It means you are not one person in public and another person in private. This matters because every time you act according to your highest values, you strengthen your self-respect. And every time you betray your values for comfort, approval, or convenience, you weaken your confidence. That is why discipline is not just about getting more done. It is about becoming someone you can trust. And once you trust yourself, everything changes. You stop needing constant motivation because your identity becomes stronger than your mood. You become the kind of person who says, "I said I would do it, so I will do it." Quiet, simple, powerful, very capybara, but with a calendar. Responsibility. The moment you stop blaming, you start growing. One of the most important chapters in the book is about responsibility. Tracy believes that full responsibility is the foundation of maturity, happiness, and success. This does not mean everything is your fault. It means your future is still your responsibility. That distinction is huge. Many people confuse responsibility with blame. They think taking responsibility means admitting they caused every bad thing that happened to them. But that is not the point. The point is this: even if something was not your fault, your response is still yours. If someone treated you unfairly, you still decide whether bitterness controls your future. If your past was difficult, you still decide whether it becomes a prison or a training ground. If you made mistakes, you still decide whether to hide from them or learn from them. Tracy argues that blame keeps people emotionally stuck. When you blame, you give power away. You mentally place your happiness, success, and peace in someone else's hands. Responsibility brings the power back. The moment you say, "I am responsible," you stop waiting to be rescued. You stop replaying the same story. You stop using your past as an excuse to avoid your next move. A practical exercise from this idea is simple. Ask yourself, what am I blaming right now? What part of this situation can I control? What is one constructive action I can take today? What would a mature, responsible version of me do next? This is not always comfortable. But comfort is not the goal. Freedom is. Goals. You cannot hit a target. You refuse to define. Tracy repeatedly emphasizes the importance of clear goals. Many people say they want success, but they never define what success actually means. So they drift. They stay busy but not directed. They work hard but not always on the right things. Clear goals turn vague desire into focused action. Instead of saying, "I want a better life," you define what that means. A better life in what area? Money, health, career, marriage, confidence, spiritual peace, energy, skill, business? Then you make it specific. How much money? By when? What kind of health? What habits? What career level? What skills are required? What kind of relationship? What behaviors would support it? Tracy's approach is practical. Write down your goals, make plans, set deadlines, and take action every day. But the deeper insight is this. A goal gives your discipline a direction. Without a goal, discipline feels like punishment. With a goal, discipline becomes devotion. You are not just waking up early, you are building your future. You are not just saving money, you are buying freedom. You are not just practicing a skill, you are becoming valuable. You are not just saying no, you are protecting your bigger yes. A lazy capybara does not run in circles, it chooses a river and floats with intention. Courage. Fear is normal, but obedience to fear is optional. Tracy makes an important point about fear. Everyone feels it. Successful people are not fearless. They have simply trained themselves to act even when fear is present. Fear of failure, fear of criticism, fear of rejection, fear of embarrassment, fear of losing money, fear of looking stupid, fear of starting over. These fears can quietly control an entire life. A person may avoid applying for a better job because they fear rejection. They may avoid starting a business because they fear failure. They may avoid speaking honestly because they fear conflict. They may avoid creating content because they fear judgment. Over time, fear becomes a cage. Tracy's solution is courage through action. Courage is like a muscle. You build it by doing the thing you fear, one step at a time. Not recklessly, not foolishly, but consistently. The more you face fear, the smaller it becomes. The more you avoid fear, the bigger it becomes. A practical way to use this idea: write down one fear that is limiting your life right now. Then ask, what is the worst realistic outcome? What could I do to reduce the risk? What is the cost of doing nothing? What small action can I take today? Sometimes the cost of inaction is much higher than the risk of action. That is the part fear does not want you to calculate. Persistence, the discipline to keep going. Self-discipline is not only about starting, it is about continuing. Anyone can feel motivated for one day. Anyone can buy the notebook, create the plan, announce the goal, and feel excited for 48 hours. But then life happens. You get tired. You get rejected. The results are slow. People doubt you. The work becomes repetitive. Your mood drops. The easy path starts whispering again. This is where persistence matters. Tracy teaches that persistence is self-discipline in action. It is the ability to keep moving after the emotional high disappears. And there is a hidden reward. Every time you persist, your self-esteem grows. Why? Because you prove to yourself that you are stronger than discomfort. You prove that your goals are not just fantasies. You prove that you can be trusted under pressure. This is where confidence really comes from. Not from positive thinking alone, not from motivational quotes, not from pretending everything is easy. Confidence comes from keeping promises to yourself. The practical takeaway: choose one important goal and commit to a daily minimum action. Make it small enough that you can do it even on a bad day. 10 minutes of writing, 1 sales call, 20 minutes of study, a short workout, 1 uncomfortable but necessary conversation, 1 page of planning, 1 focused task before distractions. Persistence is not always dramatic. Sometimes it looks like a very sleepy capybara doing the next right thing anyway. Work. Focus on the few things that actually matter. In the career and business sections, Tracy explains that self-discipline at work is one of the fastest ways to stand out. Why? Because many people are physically at work but mentally scattered. They react to messages, chat, browse, delay, switch tasks, and spend their best energy on low-value activities. Tracy introduces a useful idea. Identify the few tasks that create most of your results. This is similar to the Pareto principle. A small number of actions often produce the majority of outcomes. In your job or business, not all tasks are equal. Some tasks are worth $10 an hour. Some are worth $100 an hour. Some are worth $1,000 an hour. The disciplined person asks, what are the highest value activities I can do today? For an employee, that may mean solving important problems, improving key skills, serving customers better, supporting revenue, or taking responsibility without being asked. For a business owner, it may mean sales, product improvement, customer experience, hiring, systems, and cash flow. For a creator, it may mean scripting, recording, publishing, improving thumbnails, studying retention, and building audience trust. The trap is spending the day on easy tasks that feel productive but do not move the needle. Email feels productive. Planning feels productive. Organizing folders feels productive. Researching forever feels productive. But disciplined work means facing the task that actually matters. Tracy also suggests asking for more responsibility. People who grow quickly often do more than the minimum. They become known as reliable, useful, and action-oriented. The workplace rewards people who can be trusted with problems. So the question becomes, are you avoiding responsibility or becoming the person people can count on? Leadership. Your example is louder than your advice. Tracy's view of leadership is simple. Leadership begins with self-discipline. A leader is watched constantly. Their mood, standards, decisions, and behavior influence everyone around them. If the leader is careless, the team becomes careless. If the leader complains, the team absorbs that energy. If the leader avoids responsibility, the team learns to make excuses, If the leader stays calm, focused, and accountable, the team has a model to follow. Leadership is not just a title, it is a standard. Tracy emphasizes that leaders must create vision, set expectations, and take responsibility for results. A leader does not simply manage tasks. A leader creates belief, direction, and momentum. And this applies even if you are not officially a manager. You can lead your family with your emotional control. You can lead your team with your reliability. You can lead your business with your standards. You can lead your own life by refusing to be ruled by excuses. The first person you must lead is yourself, because if you cannot direct your own attention, habits, and emotions, it becomes very difficult to lead anyone else. Money. Financial freedom requires financial discipline. Tracy is very direct about money. Most financial problems come from a lack of discipline. Many people earn more over time but still remain stressed because their spending grows with their income. They chase comfort, status, convenience, and instant gratification. The result? Debt, pressure, dependence, and anxiety. Financial discipline begins with a mindset shift. Stop seeing money only as something to spend. Start seeing it as a tool for freedom. Tracy recommends paying yourself first. This means saving and investing before spending, not after. Most people do the opposite. They spend first and hope something is left over. Usually, nothing is. The disciplined approach is, save first, spend less than you earn. Avoid unnecessary debt. Build emergency reserves. Invest consistently. Think long-term. Increase your earning ability. This is not glamorous advice, but it works because wealth is often built through boring consistency. The emotional insight is this: every dollar you save buys you a little more control over your future. Less panic, more options, more independence, more ability to say no, more ability to survive storms. Financial discipline is not about being cheap. It is about refusing to sacrifice your future for temporary pleasure. The capybara does not need to impress other animals at the pond. The capybara wants peace. Problem solving. Focus on solutions, not drama. Tracy says successful people are solution-oriented. They do not deny problems. They simply refuse to drown in them. Life is a never-ending series of problems. As soon as you solve one, another appears. That is not a sign that life is broken. That is just life. The question is not whether you will have problems. The question is, how disciplined is your response? Undisciplined people react emotionally. They complain, blame, panic, avoid, or make the problem worse. Disciplined people pause, think, and ask better questions. What exactly is the problem? What caused it? What are the possible solutions? What is the best next action? What can I learn from this? How can I prevent it next time? This shift from emotional reaction to clear thinking is one of the most valuable forms of self-discipline. Because your life improves when your response improves. A calm mind solves better problems than an angry mind. Very zen. Very useful. Very capybara in a crisis. Happiness. Control your inner world. One of the deeper parts of No Excuses is Tracy's idea that happiness comes from a sense of control. When people feel out of control, they feel stressed, anxious, and helpless. When they feel in control of their choices, direction, and responses, they feel stronger and happier. This does not mean controlling everything outside you. That is impossible. It means controlling what is yours, your thoughts, your actions, your habits, your words, your attitude, your environment, your standards, your response. Tracy argues that happiness is not something you chase directly. It is the result of living in alignment with your values, goals, health, relationships, and responsibilities. In other words, happiness is often a byproduct of discipline. When your money is under control, you feel lighter. When your health is improving, you feel more alive. When your work has direction, you feel more confident. When your relationships are handled with maturity, you feel more peaceful. When you stop blaming, you feel more powerful. This is not instant happiness. It is earned happiness, the kind that comes from respecting yourself. Health. Energy is a discipline. Tracy also applies self-discipline to health. Your body affects everything. Your mood, focus, confidence, productivity, relationships, and long-term quality of life are all influenced by your energy. And energy is not random. It is shaped by daily habits. The basics are not complicated. Eat better, move your body, sleep enough, avoid harmful excess, reduce stress, protect your energy. The challenge is not knowing what to do. Most people already know enough to improve their health. The challenge is doing it consistently. That is why health is a self-discipline issue. You do not need a perfect routine. You need a sustainable one. Start with simple rules. Walk daily. Drink more water. Sleep at a consistent time. Eat more real food. Reduce the habits that steal your energy. Do not turn one bad meal into a bad week. Do not wait for a health scare to respect your body. Health discipline is not about looking perfect. It is about having enough energy to live your life well. A tired capybara can still be wise, but a chronically exhausted capybara needs a better sleep schedule. Relationships. Discipline your ego, not other people. Tracy makes a powerful point about relationships. Love and connection also require discipline. It takes discipline to listen instead of interrupt, to forgive instead of punish, to stay calm instead of attacking, to understand instead of always needing to be right, to choose the relationship over the ego. Many relationship problems become worse because people lack emotional discipline. They react in the heat of the moment and then regret it later. A disciplined person pauses. They ask, what outcome do I actually want here? Do I want peace or do I want to win? Do I want connection or do I want control? Do I want to understand or do I just want to prove my point? This does not mean becoming passive or accepting bad behavior. It means responding with maturity instead of emotional chaos. In families, marriages, friendships, and teams, self-discipline creates trust. When people know you will not explode, manipulate, disappear, or act carelessly, they feel safer with you. And trust is one of the greatest assets in life. Inner peace. Forgiveness is freedom. Toward the end of the book, Tracy discusses forgiveness and peace of mind. He argues that resentment is one of the heaviest emotional burdens people carry. Anger feels powerful in the moment, but over time it becomes a chain. Forgiveness does not mean approving what happened. It does not mean pretending it was okay. It does not mean you must trust the same person again. Forgiveness means you stop allowing the past to control your emotional life. Tracy describes forgiveness as something you do for yourself. It releases your energy from old pain and gives you back your peace. This requires discipline because anger can become addictive. The mind keeps replaying the story. It wants to be right. It wants justice. It wants the other person to understand. But sometimes inner peace begins when you stop waiting for someone else to give you closure. You choose to let go because your future is more important than the old wound. That may be one of the hardest disciplines in the book, but also one of the most freeing. How to apply no excuses in real life. The book's message becomes powerful when you turn it into daily action. Here is a simple way to apply it. 1. Choose one area where excuses are costing you the most. Do not try to fix your whole life in one day. Start with the area that creates the biggest pain. Money, health, career, business relationships, learning emotional control, procrastination. Ask yourself honestly, where am I making the most excuses? That answer is your starting point. 2. Define the result you actually want. Vague goals create vague discipline. Write down the specific result you want. Make it clear enough that you can measure progress. Not get healthier. Say, walk 30 minutes a day, sleep before 11:30, and lose 5 kilograms in 4 months. Not make more money. Say, save 20% of income and build a 6-month emergency fund. Not be more productive. Say, complete my most important task before checking social media. Clarity reduces excuses. 3. Create one non-negotiable daily habit. Big transformations are built from small non-negotiables. Choose one habit and make it simple. Every day, no drama. Read 10 pages. Save a fixed amount. Exercise for 20 minutes. Make one sales call. Write 300 words. Plan tomorrow before bed. Do the hardest task first. The goal is to rebuild self-trust. 4. Practice the pause. When you feel the excuse rising, pause. That tiny space is where discipline lives. Before you procrastinate, pause. Before you spend impulsively, pause. Before you react angrily, pause. Before you quit, pause. Ask, what would the responsible version of me do right now? Then do that. Not perfectly, just next. 5. Measure progress, not mood. Do not depend on feeling motivated. Track behavior. Did you do the habit today? Did you keep the promise? Did you move forward? Did you recover quickly after slipping? Progress builds confidence. Confidence builds momentum. Momentum makes discipline easier. The big lesson: no excuses is not a soft book. It does not tell you that everything will be easy. It does not say motivation will save you. It does not pretend success comes from wishing hard enough. Its message is sharper than that. Your life changes when you stop giving excuses more authority than your goals. Self-discipline is the bridge between the life you talk about and the life you actually build. It turns dreams into plans, plans into habits, habits into character, character into results, results into freedom. And the beautiful thing is, you do not need to become a completely different person overnight. You just need to win the next choice, do the next right thing, keep the next small promise, face the next uncomfortable task, take the next responsible step. That is how discipline grows. Not through one dramatic transformation, but through hundreds of quiet moments where you choose your future over your excuse. So here is the challenge. Today, choose one excuse you are done carrying. Write it down. Look at it clearly. Then take one action that proves it no longer owns you. Because the life you want is not waiting for perfect conditions. It is waiting for the disciplined version of you to show up. And as always, stay calm, stay clear, and move like a lazy capybara with a very serious life plan. If this summary helped you, subscribe to the Lazy Capybaras for more calm, practical book summaries that help you think better, work smarter, and build a life with fewer excuses and more peace.